and welcome to Electrical Wholesalers here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. My name is Eddie Perica and I'm the branch manager for the Plymouth location. I'm also proud to say that I am a certified electrical instructor and work for Martin Electrical School as well. Electrical Wholesalers is proud of our partnership with Martin Electrical School in providing training to the whole electrical industry. We now have classes available at our Plymouth location at 430 Court Street here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. The 15-hour continuing education is an important part of the electrician's everyday life. This year, the 2017 Electrical Code Book took effect on January 1st, and we are offering the 15-hour mandatory code review here at this location. What I would like to do is take a moment and give you an example of some of the changes and how we present those changes to you. The change that I'm going to present for you today is Article 210.8, GFCI protection as it pertains to their measurements. Now, before I get into this change, it'd be interesting to you to know that since the 1971 Code Book, there have been changes made to ground fault circuit interrupting protection. And in fact, in the early years of the 70s, GFCI protection was nearly scrapped from the code book. The technology wasn't very good, it was rushed into the code, and there was a lot of nuisance tripping. So what they ended up doing is they ended up peeling back some of the requirements from the early days and getting the technology right. Now, for those of us who don't remember the 1970s code, we've experienced something similar in 2005 with the implementation of arc fault circuit interrupting protection. In 2005, we learned our lessons from the early 70s of how to slowly implement the new code change. And as you recall, in 2005, we had requirements for arc fault circuit protection in the bedrooms. And since then, it has expanded each and every year moving forward. So learning those lessons we've learned from the 70s in GFCI protection, we've implemented the arc fault protection to kind of be a little more gradual in how we accept it. However, with that being said, there have been significant changes to ground fault circuit interruption protection since then. What I want to talk about here is some new language that was added to clarify how measurements are to be determined for ground fault circuit interrupting receptacles. And this was added to the parent text of Article 210.8. Now, for those of you from Massachusetts, you'll know that this new language that has been added to the parent text may sound eerily familiar. Because in 2005, Massachusetts amended Article 210.8 as 210.8 Section E, which read exactly like this. So the National Electric Code has now adopted this language as well. Measurements from receptacles to objects such as a sink that would require ground fault circuit interrupted protection shall be measured as the shortest path a cord or an appliance connected to a receptacle would take without piercing a floor, wall, ceiling, or fixed barrier, or passing through a door, doorway, or window. Similar existing text already exists in Article 680.22A5. Now, many of you know that Article 680 has to do with swimming pools, fountains, and similar installations. And in 680.22A5, it reads as follows. In determining the dimension, in this section addressing receptacle spacing, the distance to be measured shall be the shortest path the supply cord of an appliance connected to the receptacle would follow without piercing a floor, wall, ceiling, doorway with hinged or sliding door, window opening, or other effective permanent barrier. And again, that's the text that you'll find in 680.22A5 for receptacle measurements around a permanently installed swimming pool. So the essence of this additional language to 210.8 was taken right from that article. How does this affect us? As you recall, in the 2014 electrical code, whenever we had a garbage disposal installed under a kitchen sink that was cord and plug connected, 2014 required that receptacle to be ground fault circuit interrupted protected. However, with the implementation of this new language in 2017, it's eliminated that requirement. This eliminates the need for the GFCI protection for receptacles installed inside a cabinet under a sink, as the measurements of the sink would constitute penetrating a cabinet door in order to achieve this measurement. It's also interesting to note that complementary revisions at 210.8A7 for dwelling units and 210.8B5 for non-dwelling units are also updated. So this graphic here shows the 210.8 measurements for GFCI protection. GFCI protection shall be required as required in 210.8A through E, installed in a readily accessible location. When determining the distance from receptacles, distances shall be measured as the shortest path the cord of an appliance connected to the receptacle would follow without piercing a floor, wall, ceiling, or fixed barrier, or passing through a door, doorway, or window. Again, this was language that was amended in Massachusetts prior to this year in Article 210.8E. That amendment is now gone out of the Massachusetts Electrical Code because the National Electrical Code has adopted that language. Continuing, dwelling unit sink measurements revised for determining which receptacles require GFCI protection. All 125 volt single phase 15 and 20 amp receptacles installed within 6 feet of the top inside edge of the bowl, now notice that's in gold, so that language has been changed, of any dwelling unit sink, including the kitchen sink, require GFCI protection without the measurements piercing a floor, wall, ceiling, or fixed barrier, or passing through a door, doorway, or window. Revisions make it clear that the measurement from the receptacle to the sink ends or begins at the top inside edge of the bowl of the sink rather than the outside edge of the sink. So notice again the text in gold, the top inside edge of the bowl is where that measurement is now taken. Continuing with GFCI protection at dwelling unit sinks, this revision, along with additions to the parent text of 210.8, will eliminate the necessity for GFCI protection for receptacles installed inside a cabinet, such as the receptacle for the garbage disposal. As we experienced in 2014 with the change to Article 210.8, that receptacle, when cord and plug connected, that disposal had to be plugged into a ground fault circuit interrupting circuit. That is no longer there because the measurement to the sink would constitute penetrating that cabinet door in order to achieve this 6-foot measurement. The same revision occurs in 210.8B5 for GFCI protection and measurements at a non-dwelling unit sink. Now, let's go back to this graphic here. There's a note here on this graphic, and it pertains to dwelling and non-dwelling units that we just discussed. This illustration could be an office break room, or it could be a dwelling unit kitchen. What is a dwelling unit kitchen? Well, as we know, in Article 100, let's go revisit that. Article 100 in definitions, the definition of a dwelling unit. A single unit providing complete and independent living facilities for one or more persons, including permanent provision for living, sleeping, cooking, and sanitation. So just so we're clear again on what a dwelling unit is versus a non-dwelling unit. Moving forward. 210.8A7 GFCI protection at sinks. Again, just to kind of tie in this complete change, GFCI required for all 125 volt single phase 15 and 20 amp receptacles installed within 6 feet from the top inside edge of a dwelling unit sink, in a laundry, utility, mudroom, kitchen, wet bar, anywhere where you're going to have a sink in that dwelling unit. But it's important to note that the new language that's been incorporated to the National Electrical Code, which again was always amended in the Massachusetts Electrical Code. Without the measurement, piercing a floor, wall, ceiling, or fixed barrier, or passing through a door, doorway, or window. And again, please note that that same requirement is in 210.8B5 for non-dwelling unit sinks as well. We hope that you enjoyed our little review here of GFCI protection as it regards measurements in 210.8. We would encourage you to visit our website for a schedule of upcoming classes. There are a lot of changes in the 2017 code. We look forward to seeing you here and visiting us and getting updated on them. We can be found here at Electrical Wholesalers in Plymouth, Mass, 430 Court Street. Our phone number is 508-747-1851. Again, we encourage you to visit the Martin Electrical School website or our website at www.ew-ne.com for future class dates.